We'll try again.
He's froze on my end.
You're frozen now?
I have nothing.
We can hear you.
Can't hear.
You can't hear Leslie?
No, you froze on my end. I mean, I just now I did, but it wasn't.
I can hear you.
It says y'all's internet is low.
Oh, God.
Across
He's
the hall,
frozen
I
all
seem to
night.
be okay.
I don't know which one. I don't even have a place to plug in anything. Hold on, let me.
Why don't we go back like it used to be?
Kayla, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Before we got on the record, you and I had discussed several things. I mean, before we get on the record, you and I had discussed some potential agreements through various things. Where do we stand on that? Did you know?
I do know. So we are in agreement to exchange the information about the cattle within 10 days, and then we'll calculate the offset.
Although I've got to make sure my client is in agreement, so I may
Oh.
have to talk to her, but go ahead. But
Okay.
I
And then
sent
we're
her
in
an email to this effect, but I haven't spoken to her about it, so I need to take her alone for a second. But I tell you what, let me ask you.
Y'all need to go in a breakout room?
Could Mariah Robles and I go in a breakout room right quick?
Yeah.
And then Kayla, I'll have a better idea of where we stand. Sorry about that.
And Mariah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And Mariah, if you'll hit join there.
Leslie, what about now? Are you able to hear me?
You keep freezing up. Everybody freezes up. So I'm going to switch to the wireless. Hold on.
Okay.
Zoom is great until we have internet problems.
I know. It's
We're going to try now.
okay. And Mr. Green is in a chat room.
Oh, okay.
Is Arabella, where are you located?
I'm actually at home in DeSoto right now. My office is in Dallas, but I'm in DeSoto right now.
Is it raining?
It stopped. It was raining just maybe 30 minutes ago, but right now it's paused.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're
Is
right.
it raining?
It paused, so same thing.
Yeah.
I understand they have the boat teams in Navarro County to be sent wherever, so hopefully they don't need them, but I always, if it rains as much as they're forecasting, I think they'll need them.
Yeah, my parents still live in Ennis and they're way out in the country and those roads are terrible. They're on a bunch of back roads and so get worried about them too.
Well, I know that yesterday I was on a meeting at 4 and they said that they were stationed here, but they would be going to Ellis, Hill, Kaufman, those counties, kind of all the contiguous counties. So hopefully that your parents don't need a boat
Hopefully.
or a canoe. And this is your motion to clarify, I believe.
Yes, Your Honor, I have a request for clarification and a post-divorce property division.
Hey, Your Honor, would the court let me go in a breakout room with Miss Arvalo if she's interested?
Sure. Let me see if I can facilitate that.
Okay. Ms. Torres, I'm going to go meet briefly with Mr. Robles' lawyer about the stuff we just talked about, and we'll be right back. I haven't gotten an invite, Your Honor.
It shows that you're in room one.
Well, that's interesting. But you can still see me, can't you?
Well, I can see where you just says you haven't joined yet.
Well, usually it will,
Let me try again.
it'll usually give me a little invite thing, but it didn't give it to me that time.
That's weird. Well, it's closing them all out now.
Oh, there it goes. All right. Now it's inviting me.
Okay, Miss Arvello, now you're not in it, so there you go.
Your Honor, I think we have an agreement on a lot of this, and then there's an issue or two that get left over.
Okay.
If it's easier, Your Honor, we can go based on the order in my motion for clarification and post-divorce division, if that's okay with the court.
I had that pulled up a second ago. Let me get back to it. I may still have my notes from this hearing. I usually don't hold on to them for too long, but for some reason I think I do. But I know my notes are just that, but
That actually might be helpful on one or two things.
or it may not. Okay. Leslie, you ready?
I am, thank you.
On the record in D19-28445-CV, case style in the matter of the marriage of Maria Robles and Roy Romero Robles. And this is the Mr. Robles's petition for clarification, post-divorce property division, and to appoint receiver. I have counsel for both sides present, and counsel I know has been, have met. And so I think y'all have indicated there's some agreements and then some that there are no agreements. So if you want to go in order, I've got the motion pulled up.
You want to recite or you want me to recite?
I can recite if it's okay.
That's okay.
So, Your Honor, with regard to our first issue, letter A, about the division of the wife's retirement account, and the order does not specify which account is to be divided. There's nothing in there specifically that would allow us to effectuate a qualified domestic relations order to actually divide the account. And so it's my understanding Mr. Green's client has agreed to provide that information so we can clarify that provision and then get the quadro completed. And we're requesting that it be provided within 10 days.
It's definitely true. My client will produce it, Your Honor. Now, as far as within 10 days, I haven't asked her that. So, Ms. Robles, can you get us the information on the retirement account within 10 days?
Yes.
Okay. As far as that goes, we're okay.
And then, Your Honor, Neil filed a nunc pro tunc this morning, and I told him I'm fine with getting some clarity from you about it. It's also pertaining to the retirement, so I don't know if the court would prefer to address it now while we're talking about the retirement or to come back to it.
Whatever is easier for y'all.
You want me to
talk
kind
about
of,
it?
I can try. So, Your Honor, the court ruled on, you entered a letter ruling on June 17th, 2020. And in the letter ruling, paragraph number 8 awards her retirement account to the wife, to my client. In paragraph number 9E, it says that the husband is to get half of the interest on the wife's retirement account. So it gave my client her retirement account and gave Mr. Robles half of the interest on her retirement account. So the decree that we had previously entered actually just said that he got half of her retirement account and that she got half of her retirement account. So that was clearly incorrect, as I believe Mr. Arvalo acknowledges. Up to this point, I think we're in agreement. So I submitted a nunc pro tunc that says that only the interest is to be divided between Mr. and Mrs. Robles, but that the principal on the retirement account is to be awarded to Ms. Robles. Because I believe that is what your ruling intended. I think Ms. Arvalo almost agrees with me, but not quite. So she's got a distinction that she may want to bring up.
Yes, Your Honor, we agree that it needs to be corrected, but there was nothing in your memorandum ruling that indicated a disproportionate division. And so we believe it should say he is awarded 1/2 of the community interest in her retirement. My client believes that she made contributions in addition to the interest that accrued. And so he would be entitled to 1/2 of the community interest in her retirement account, and whatever she had prior is obviously her separate property.
Since we're doing this rather informally, may I ask my client a question? Does anybody mind?
Do you want her?
You can swear in if you like. I mean, whatever the court.
Yeah, ma'am, do you want to raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Ms. Robles, on this retirement account that we're talking about, did you make any contributions to that retirement account during the marriage?
No, sir.
Okay. Actually, I'll pass the witness. That's all I wanted to know, Your Honor.
Your Honor, it would be my position then she's not adversely affected, truthfully didn't make any contributions during the marriage, then the only community interest would be the interest that accrued. So I don't think it would do her any harm if it's still worded, he's awarded half of the community interest in the IRA account.
Well, I think all the evidence at trial was, I mean, I basically agree with Ms. Arevalo. As long as she didn't contribute during the marriage, the only part that's going to be divisible anyway would be the interest. So as long as we're all on the same page with that, if it turns out that she did contribute during the marriage and she's forgotten or something, then that portion is going to be divisible. But assuming that didn't happen, then I'm okay with that language on the community interest. As long as we all understand that the only thing that would be community interest would be the interest earned on the principal. I just confused everybody.
No, you didn't. I'd like to, I think I, again, have my notes and I can at least make sure I'm on the same page as y'all, and then, so I'll carry this.
Okay.
All right. What's the next one?
Your Honor, the next letter is B, which refers to items R10, R11, and R12 on page 7 of the final decree of divorce. It awarded vehicles to my client, and he hasn't been able to go on the property to obtain those. And I think we have an agreement for him to go obtain those as well as his tools and personal belongings from the barn. The house is scheduled to close on Friday. And so we're asking if he can have access to the house on Thursday and Friday to get the vehicles and his items.
Are you talking about?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms.
It's
Robles
like in
is
3
spinning.
days.
And you know, that's the agreement, Mr. Green?
Well, the only thing is, I didn't realize that the closing was going to be on Friday, but obviously he's going to have to retrieve those items before the closing. So, Ms. Robles, do you have any objection to his coming out there on Thursday and Friday instead of Saturday and Sunday?
It's fine.
Okay, so we're okay with that, Your Honor.
Okay.
Here's the only issue I can foresee. I don't know if there's these vehicles, if this is the case I recall, there were some vehicles in a pasture, or please tell me if I've got the wrong case. Without looking at my notes, I can't remember.
I don't know where the vehicles are. Ms. Robles, can you tell us kind of where the vehicles are on the property?
The vehicles are disabled. It's one Chevy that he was, we bought a new motor and he was fixing it. But it's by the barn, right there. All 3 vehicles is there. It's a Cadillac.
I guess my concern was with all this rain, if something was in an area where it was hard to get out, but I guess hopefully that can be worked out. Can't do anything about the rain though.
Ms. Robles, is it going to be accessible or is the rain going to mess it up?
It's accessible.
And hopefully that'll be okay, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's gonna be okay.
All right, that was B. And does that, we're talking about vehicles, but also, Ms. Arvello, you indicated about the tools and personal documents, so all that can be done at the same time?
Well, there are tools in the barn, and Ms. Robles has indicated to me that they're there, and he's welcome to retrieve those out there. There's a compressor, there's a barbecue pit, all that stuff is outside, and he's welcome to retrieve that. As far as personal documents, she doesn't have any, and we had given him whatever personal documents we had that she had delivered to me during the pendency of this divorce. So she just telling me those don't exist. So I don't know what we're talking about there. But as far as the tools go, yes.
Okay.
So I think we're good on that one, Your Honor. The next letter is C, which deals with the cattle. And although there's nothing pending before the court regarding my client's compliance with the order, we have agreed to mutually exchange documents within 10 days on what cattle each party has sold. So we will exchange that to calculate who owes who what money. And then also the remaining cattle will be sold and they will split those proceeds depending on how the numbers end out. We need an order that says they're going to exchange this information within 10 days and we're going to get those cows sold as well.
Okay.
I think
And
that's fine with us.
I think we're in agreement to sell them at the auction. I believe they both previously used the Athens auction, and I know Mr. Green referenced the Hubbard
I have no
auction as
preference
well.
on that. It's whatever the parties want to do. So do y'all, I mean, people around here use the West, they use the Hubbard, they use different ones. Do y'all care? Ms. Robles,
Excuse me?
do you have a preference on which sale barn to use?
It's, I can understand, I'm sorry.
Which auction barn, do you care where they're sold?
I don't care.
Okay. How are we gonna do that? Is my client gonna be responsible for selling those cows? Or how are we didn't talk about that.
May I ask I think my client would prefer to do it, but let me ask him very quickly.
I sold the cow that I sold in the auction.
Do you know which auction you sold it at?
I can't remember right now the name. But
Did they come pick them up for you, or
I got the receipt. I got the receipt.
did they come pick them up for you, or did you haul them over
No,
there?
I had to pay so they can deliver there.
Okay.
Neil, is she saying there's no more cows, or that's what she did with the
She
previous?
was talking about the previous ones that she sold. There's still 4 left, right, Ms. Robles?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the question from you, Ms. Aravello, was how is this going to happen? Or maybe Mr. Green.
I'd say since my client has possession, I don't know, Ms. Robles, do you want to sell them, or do you want Roy to sell them, or how do you want to do that?
I want to sell it.
Well, I'd ask that we be allowed to sell them. She's most recently sold some cows, so she knows how to do it. That's what we would ask, Your Honor.
Obviously, my client wants to be the one to sell the cows, so I don't know how you want to handle that if you want to award someone the right to do it, but neither one of them are living on the residence where the cows are. And it would just be there's some trust issues there about getting them sold.
That is true. You had previously awarded my client possession of the house during dependency, so it seems consistent with the prior order to allow my client to do it.
I respect that.
I think we lost your client.
We lost Ms. Aravallo's client. I think mine's still there.
He's there. His camera's off.
Oh.
There he is.
There he is. Hi, Roy.
So where are the cows now?
They're on the property.
And neither party lives on the property now?
That's right. And the property's about to get sold. So what's going to happen? I mean, can we get them off before the closing, or can we?
Yes.
You can. Okay.
Roy, you're muted, so I can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself with the little red microphone and the.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, and Roy, is it correct that you would prefer to be the one to sell the cows?
Yes, I would like to be the one to sell them because
Can we swear him in too, Your Honor, if he's going to testify?
Robles, if you could, do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Aravallo?
And this decree was entered in November. And are you concerned with the length of time that has passed and these cows still have not been sold?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Is that one of the major reasons why you're asking to be the one to sell the cows?
Yes, from my understanding, after the divorce was awarded, all this should have been done right after the divorce, and I have to pretty much just wait on her, and I just want this over with. I want it over with, and, you know, move on with my life. But with her holding me back with everything and the cows and posting the house for sale, you know, it's just ridiculous. And yes, I want to be the one awarded to sell the cows.
And Roy, have we been reaching out to Ms. Robles, both through Mr. Green and Ms. Robles directly since March of 2021 to have these cows sold?
That is correct.
And they're still not sold, are they?
No, ma'am.
So
From
are you
my
asking, hold on, Roy. So you're asking the court today that they allow you to sell these 4 cows and that you'll provide the receipts as required?
Sorry.
You're asking the court that you be allowed to sell the cows and that you will provide the receipts as required?
Yes.
No further questions of this witness at this time.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions of him, Your Honor. Hey, can I call my client about the same matter?
Yes. And she's still under oath.
Ms. Robles, you said you'd previously sold some cows, correct?
Yes,
And who'd you hire to come get them? Do you have somebody that you could hire easily to come get the cows?
yes, my neighbor.
Okay. And you've got a good relationship with them, so you could get that done quickly.
Yes,
Are you asking that the court allow you to go do that so that you can monitor that situation? Nobody can be whispering to her while she's on the stand. Sorry.
Golly.
We would just respectfully ask that if anybody's in the room with her, that they step out.
Exactly. Thank you.
Excuse me, I'm going to
Right,
object to
don't-
non-responsive on Roy, Your Honor.
It's all sustained. Ms. Robles, if you can, there's someone in there, if they can either leave the room or at least make themselves visible so I know if and when they're trying to help you answer questions. State your answer to the question Mr. Green just asked.
yes.
Okay, y'all got to identify yourselves. The court just said to, if anybody's there. Is there anybody in there?
No more.
Okay, gotcha. Good enough. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms.
Hey.
Robles? I'm sorry, Your Honor.
No, go ahead. I was getting ready to ask you if you had any questions.
Yes. Ms. Robles, you've been in possession of these cows since the decree was entered last year. Is that correct?
These 4,
And you
yes,
haven't sold any of these cows in all the months that since your divorce decree. Is that true?
I sold 6.
6.
And when did you sell 6 of them?
Had a,
I believe that was November. November last year.
And you had a phone call with me on March 22nd of this year. Is that correct?
Yes,
And at that time, I requested information about all of these things before we filed this suit. Is that correct?
excuse me.
I asked you about the status of all of these items, including the cows, the house, and all of the things in our motion. Do you recall that?
I told you the divorce. I just got divorced in November. I was sick. After that, the weather, the market wasn't good.
In summary, that I haven't taken any action to sell these remaining 4 cows until today. Is that correct?
The reason was
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
also
Okay.
say, may I just respond to the question? Yes or no?
no.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
But obviously, you're willing to sell the cows right now, right, Ms. Robles?
Yes,
And you understand that the more money you get for the cows, the better you do and the better Roy does, correct?
that's just one of the things. The
So-
market is real bad.
So you got an incentive to get the best price you can for the cattle, right?
Yes,
And is it true that the reason that you didn't sell the cattle before was, well, why didn't you sell the cattle before?
because they try to prevent the taxes going over, because we in plant agriculture, we need to have some kind of cows in the
I didn't hear
land.
that. I didn't hear that.
I think I can clear that up. You're saying that you were trying to keep the ag exemption on the land. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's a good thing for everybody, actually. including you, Mr. Robles, because that'll keep the
Ob-
expenses
object-
down.
Objection to sidebar speaking to my client.
Same.
All right, I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
No further questions of this witness on this
Kayla?
issue, Your Honor.
Kayla, I have a question.
Objection non-responsive, Your Honor.
Robles, you can't ask questions. As far as the cows, I'll order Mr. Robles sell the cows. We'll go on to the next issue.
Which one, Your Honor? You cut out at the key moment there.
Mr. Robles.
Okay. Your Honor, item number D, the sale of the residence has actually been remedied at this point after serving Ms. Robles with the petition. The house is now listed, so we no longer need to have it listed by a date certain or appoint a receiver. We have a closing date scheduled, so item D is no longer needed at this moment.
Okay. Anything else?
Letter E, Your Honor, Your Honor ordered the parties to sell the contents of the house through an estate sale, and that had not occurred to my knowledge, but I learned at about 11:30 a.m. today was actually had a garage sale and claimed she didn't make anything off of it. And so that's an issue for Your Honor to consider today. We would put on testimony about what my client recalls being in the house and request a money judgment for her selling these items not in the manner ordered by the court and not paying my client anything from it.
Okay. So we're on E, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we'll continue on in the same manner.
Your Honor, I would call Mariah Robles.
All right. You may proceed. She's still under oath.
Ms. Robles, did you sell the items and the contents of the house in an estate sale as ordered by this court?
It's nothing that we can sell in the state sale because that house,
Objection, Your Honor,
No.
non-responsive.
okay, no,
So your answer to Ms. Araval's question is no, there were no items sold?
no, I didn't use all, everything was real old. We used to have furniture in Denton and the house that was bigger. This house is only 600 square feet. There was only one couch that was broke. A little table that my daughter gave it to me in the kitchen. There was 2 beds with the all mattress. He took one of the bed. And he took the guest room furniture. So,
Okay.
you know, he took a lot of stuff that was new. He put it in the pawn shop.
Objection, non-responsive, Your Honor.
House the same.
Ms. Robles, did you have a garage sale?
Yes,
And when did you have a garage sale?
that was in September, around September.
Prior to your divorce decree being entered?
After.
So your divorce decree was entered on November 30th of 2020. And Your Honor, I have exhibit number 2, which is a copy of the final decree of divorce. It says the host has disabled screen sharing.
It's on there.
So,
Can I explain?
Your Honor, I would offer our exhibit number 2, which is a copy of the final decree of divorce into evidence.
Any objection, Mr. Green?
Set on force. No, but I would like to know what the little note is up there. Is that just the prior setting? Is that?
That's just how my client received the setting request in the decree.
Gotcha. I have no objection.
My computer catches up, it'll let me scroll down. Okay, there we go. And
I have no
so,
objection.
It's admitted again.
Ms. Robles, you understand that your divorce decree was entered in November of 2020, is that correct?
Yes.
And you're stating your garage sale was
I can't remember exactly the time, but let me, in June is when the last time that we went to court.
in September. So
Y'all are both cutting in and out.
did you sell items prior to receiving the ruling from the court?
Excuse me?
The ruling was in June, Ms. Arvalo.
Uh-huh.
So despite knowing that the court ordered to have an estate sale through a third party, you unilaterally decided to have a garage sale. Is that true?
Excuse me, I can hear you.
Despite the court ordering that you have an estate sale through a third party, you by yourself decided to garage sale to sell the house.
Because wasn't nothing to sell.
How much money did you get from the garage sale?
That was $50 for the console. That was, I want to say $30 for the couch. I just want to remove, that was too heavy and we need to start cleaning the house.
Did you sell any of my client's tools or any of the tools that were located on the residence?
No, and let me tell you, the tools that would belong to him the same way that was have belonged to me.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
I said no.
Ms. Robles, I'm going to show you what's marked as petitioner's exhibit number 3. Do you recall receiving letters from me by both regular and certified mail regarding our last hearing?
I received one in the ranch. And I received one over here by my door.
And you also received text messages from me as well, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, I would offer exhibit number 3, which is a copy of the notices that were sent to Ms. Robles.
Ms. Arvalo, can you kind of skim through so I can see?
Yes, they're the same letter, but to both addresses that advised her of our last hearing on April 8th of 2020. And the tracking for the certified mail.
I have no
She
objection to
just
that.
did.
I-
So, are they admitted, Your Honor?
Oh, yes.
And so, Ms. Robles, despite getting notifications from me, you didn't appear at that, did you?
No.
I'm going to show you what's marked as petitioner's exhibit number 4, which is a letter to your attorney dated March 11th, 2021. Do you recall this letter?
No.
You never received a copy of this letter?
No.
Ms. Robles, do you believe you owe my client money for the sale of the contents of the house?
Excuse me?
Do you believe you owe my client for selling the contents of the house?
I don't understand that question.
Do you believe you owe my client money, half of whatever you sold?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And you didn't, did you keep an inventory or a list of the items that were sold?
Yes,
And where's that inventory or list?
I got it. I'm gonna give it to my lawyer.
And this is just your handwritten records of what you're claiming was sold?
Yes.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Hey, Ms. Robles. All right, so when did you re-enter the house? Let's say, how long have you, the ranch, when did you go back in?
Excuse me?
So Roy had possession of the house for part of the time, correct? During this divorce, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so when you went back into the house after Roy left the house, what was left in the house?
He left the doors open, and that was only the couch, the TV that he broke, pictures that he took. He took all his pictures of the pictures, the family
Wait.
pictures.
I just want you to tell me what was left, not what he took. So you said there was a couch left, right?
That was a
And was
yes,
there was a TV?
yes.
And was there anything else left
A
in the house?
console, the console
A console for the TV?
for the TV,
Okay.
and the couch.
How many couches?
One.
One couch.
An
Okay.
hour.
So there's
20
one
years old.
couch, one TV, and then the console for the TV, right?
Yes.
Was there
And,
any other?
The kitchen table with 3 stools. That would belong to my daughter, and he knows.
Okay. Was there anything else left in the house?
The mattresses of the master bedroom.
Okay.
And 2 dressers. That's
Two
it.
dressers. That's it. Okay. So had he taken a bunch of stuff out of the house?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Well, I can ask it a different way.
I'll sustain redirect.
When you re-entered the house after Roy had been there, were there a lot of things that were no longer there?
Yes.
So can you tell us what those things were?
Missing a new VCRs.
Okay.
He's missing a TV.
Okay.
He's missing. Let me tell you. That was a camera that my sister gave me. My sister that lives in Houston. A red camera. He just left the box.
Okay.
He took that was another stuff that my family gave it to me. He took pants, blankets, all the blankets.
Okay. So let's back up to the list of things that you were actually there. Okay.
Well, yeah.
So
Yeah, that was only the I remember that because my mom gave it to
Okay.
me.
Okay. So did you sell the couch at a garage sale?
Excuse me.
Did you sell the couch at a garage
Yes.
sale? How much
Yes.
money? How much money did you get for the couch?
$50.
All right. Did you sell the TV at a garage sale?
Yes.
How much money did you get for the TV?
$30.
Okay. What about the console? Did you sell it?
Yes.
How much money did you get for that?
50.
Okay. The kitchen table, your daughter took it because that was hers, right? The stool.
Yes. Yes, I
Okay.
gave it to her.
The mattresses in the master bedroom, did you sell those?
No, I'll keep it.
Okay, so you still have those.
Yeah,
And
he
then-
can if he wants.
And then the 2 dressers, did you sell those?
No, I'll keep it.
Okay. So right now, of all the stuff that was in the house, you've got 2 mattresses and 2 dressers, right?
No, because I had to remove that because the house is clean. Because
Hear
it's
you.
for-
But you still have those things yourself, right? You still got those
Yes.
2 dressers and the
Yes.
and the 2 mattresses.
Mhm.
Okay. So altogether, you made $130 off of the sale. It
Yes.
sounds. Okay.
Yes.
And you agree half of that ought to be Roy's, correct?
Yes. After
All
he paid me for what he owed to me too.
Okay, so now that's not really before the court, but are you telling, I won't go into that except to say, are you telling that he took some stuff?
Yes.
Okay. And you're gonna make me a list of that so we can come back to court and fight with Roy about that, right?
Okay.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
No further questions of this witness, Your Honor. I would call my client Roy Robles.
And we're still on the E items. Okay.
Roy, I understand you have a lot of feelings about this, but I want to focus on my questions in the interest of the time for the court, okay?
Yes.
When you vacated the marital residence, what items were still in the house to be sold for an estate sale?
Everything.
Specifically, give me specifics of what remained in the house.
All the furniture, the cattle trailer, the trailers, the tractor, all the kitchenware, both furnitures, both bedroom furnitures. I took nothing. Pretty much everything was left behind. When I was told, I was rushed to get out by Maria. If I didn't leave within the 2 weeks, she was going to call the sheriff department out. So at this time, I didn't want any more trouble. All I got, to be honest with you, was the clothes, my clothes. That's all I got.
So tell the court, Roy, what kind of trailer was left on the property?
I had a 18-foot flatbed trailer. I think a 16-footer cattle trailer, a John Deere tractor that I was repairing at the time during the altercation come about and we went into divorce. Pretty much, yeah. And then the vehicles that pertain to me there and tools. Pretty much, I mean, I didn't take anything, to be honest with you. I just took the clothes, my clothes.
I know this is difficult to do since we just learned about this a few hours ago, but can you give the
Yes.
court an estimate of what you think the 2 trailers were valued at?
I'll say about 3,000.
And what about the tractor?
The tractor, about 4,000.
And that's not even including the other miscellaneous items that were left. Is that correct?
Yes,
And are you asking the court to give you a money judgment in the amount of at least $5,000 for the contents of the house?
yes,
Since we just learned that they were sold?
yes.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on this one, Your Honor. Pass the witness. I'd like to recall my client whenever it's my turn. May I call Ms. Robles?
I have no problem with that.
Sorry.
Yes.
Ms. Robles, you just heard Mr. Robles testify that there was an 18-foot flatbed trailer on the property. Was
Yes.
that on the property when you came back to it?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you know what happened to it?
I don't know, but I got proof, I got pictures about he was taking the trailer to his uncle. One of the trailers is there, that was there for, a short time.
So you never, did you take that trailer anywhere?
No,
Did you sell that trailer?
no,
And it's not on the property now, and it wasn't on the
It's
property
not.
when you got there?
it's not.
Okay, what about the 16-foot cattle trailer? Do you know what happened to that?
No,
Was that cattle trailer there when you moved back onto the property?
no,
And was there a John Deere tractor on that property?
yes.
Okay, what happened to the John Deere tractor?
The court gave me the right to sell it.
Okay. Under the divorce decree or under a prior order?
On the divorce decree,
Okay. How much did you sell it for?
2000.
Okay. So how come you didn't mention that a minute ago? Is it because it wasn't inside the house?
Yes,
All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
the same way that I forgot that he sold the Tahoe. He said that he sold for $5,000. But assume, after he sold, the court gave it to him. So
Your Honor,
it's
I'd
why,
object this to speculation. When she says,
Let's
I
go.
assume he did this.
no,
Let
he
me
said
just
that, he said that in
hold
court.
on, Ms. Robles. We can't go off on a tangent here. We got to kind of stick to the points.
I'm sorry,
It's okay. We'll just never get this done if we don't kind of stick to it. Just to narrow it down here, you don't know anything about the flatbed trailer or the cattle trailer, but the John Deere tractor, you sold it for $2,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now you heard Mr. Robles testify. You heard Mr. Robles testify that all the furniture was still in the house, all the bedroom furniture, and all that. Was that correct?
It's not.
Okay. Did you accurately testify a few moments ago about what was in the house?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Robles was actually ordered to get out within what, 2 weeks or something, correct?
That was after 2 weeks. The court, after the court giving to him a day, he wasn't moving out.
So did he go over his time before he
2
moved out?
weeks. Yes,
Okay.
2 weeks after.
Your
So
Honor,
not
I would
only-
object this to relevance.
Well, it's relevant because he had control of the place for plenty of time. He's trying to act like somebody forced him out, but he had. I'm sorry. Okay. So Ms. Robles, how long did he have possession of that house after the judge told him to get out?
I believe 2 weeks
Okay.
when I was still paying for bills.
Okay. So you were paying for it all that time too. Did he have plenty of time to get everything out of that house that he
Yes.
needed?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
No further questions of this witness, Your Honor. I think you've probably heard enough to go over it again.
Yeah, I bet I have. And again, I want to look at my notes, which I still have them for some strange reason. So I'll defer on this on item E. Anything else?
Yes, Your Honor, the next item is the post-divorce division of property as it pertains to the stimulus checks.
Okay.
My client subsequently did receive a check for $1,400 for the second stimulus and a check for $600 for the third stimulus, but he still has not received the $1,200 check from the first stimulus, which all three of these were deposited into Ms. Robles's account from the IRS.
Okay, so he's received a $1,400 and a $600 stimulus.
Yes, from Ms. Robles. He's only missing the first one now.
What's the first one?
And I think I can,
$1,200.
and I think I can probably cut to the chase on this one.
Okay.
Ms. Robles does have the $1,200 stimulus check. Ms. Robles has directed me to, and clearly that's his under the order. I mean, I just think that's his because she got hers and he's supposed to get his. However, we're going to have, he hasn't paid her for any of the expenses for maintaining the cattle or the house or half the taxes or any of those things that were ordered by the court in this letter.
No.
By the court's letter ruling. So unfortunately, we're going to have to file some subsequent stuff to collect against that. So,
And Your Honor, I would object as to relevance as those matters are not before the court today. And I've been on this case willing and able to talk to anyone since March 11th of 2021. And I haven't received anything. My client can't pay half of something he doesn't know what it is. So once we get those receipts, then I'm happy to talk to my client about it, but that's not set today. And it doesn't change the fact that he's entitled to his stimulus payment.
I agree it's not set today. And I also agree that we're going to produce the receipts and we're going to let them know exactly what's owed.
Okay. So what's the issue for the court then today on the stimulus checks?
We want the check provided to my client immediately, Your Honor.
I don't think she has any choice but to do it, Your Honor. I'm just also pointing out that we're going to have, we may potentially have to have another fight to collect all these expenses and things. And I was really hoping we could avoid all that.
Okay. So it'll be the $1,200 check is order turned over. Or the
By when, Your Honor?
The $1,200 that Mr. Green's client has is order turned over to Mr. Robles.
By when, Your Honor? What date?
By next Monday at 5 p.m.
Your Honor. And then the last issue I have is my attorney's fees and expenses, and I would call myself.
Okay,
as a witness.
may proceed.
Your Honor, my name is Kayla Curry Aravalo, and I am a licensed attorney in the state of Texas, and I'm in good standing with the state bar. I would show the court that we attempted on multiple occasions to resolve this before filing a clarification. I am showing the court what's marked as petitioner's exhibit number 4, and this is a true and correct copy of the letter that I sent myself to Mr. Green, outlining the issues and stating that we're trying to avoid litigation on this if we can resolve it without court. And the letter has not been altered in any ways, and Mr. Green has also confirmed receipt and received my letter. So I would offer exhibit into evidence.
I have no objection to it being entered into evidence, Your Honor.
It's admitted.
And so, Your Honor, Mr. Green let me know that he was not retained to represent his client at that time. And I then turned my focuses to trying to contact Ms. Robles directly. I sent her the letters and the text messages, which were already admitted into evidence as exhibit number 3. I called her, I followed up with her, and she avoided service. We had to get a motion for substituted service signed by the court, which led to more expenses for my client. My client agreed to pay me an hourly rate of $300 per hour. I'm showing the court what is marked as exhibit number 7. This is a true and correct copy of the contract between myself and my client and Cruz Law Group. And it outlines his retainer amount of $3,000 and the hourly rate of $300. I would offer petitioner's exhibit 7 into evidence.
No objection.
Admitted.
Your Honor, my client has incurred attorney's fees in the amount of $3,782.71. I'm showing the court what's marked as our exhibit number 6, which is a true and correct copy of the invoice from my firm for services rendered in connection with this case. I would offer petitioner's exhibit evidence.
I have no objection.
And last, Your Honor, I would show the court what's marked as a petitioner's exhibit number 8. This is a true and correct copy of the filing fee and process server fee that my client has incurred with the court. Assuming my screen will scroll down, that would be great. I apologize, Your Honor, my computer's going a little slow. My client incurred a filing fee in the $16.46 and a process server fee in the amount of $175 as a result of attempting personal service on 3 separate occasions and then having to go back for the substituted service. These are true and correct copies of the receipts that my client has incurred, and they have not been altered in any way. And if my computer ever lets me get down there so Mr. Green can see them, I will offer them into evidence.
I have no objection to them being offered or being entered. I'd ask that would you mind emailing me a copy of those? Okay.
Of course, I will email them to you immediately. And so, Your Honor, my client has taken every step to try to avoid coming back to the court for these issues. But the fact is, this divorce decree was entered in November of 2020. She'd made no effort to sell the house. The house wasn't sold or even listed on the market until after we served her with the notices. She unilaterally sold the contents of the house in violation of the court's order and not doing it through the estate sale. She arbitrarily withheld my client's stimulus check. She has not turned over any proof or receipt for the cows that were sold, nor paid my client his half that he's entitled to. She hasn't sold the remaining cattle that was on the land. And my client has incurred attorney's fees in the amount of $3,782.71, and then total expenses for the filing fee and the process server fee of $191.46. These fees and expenses were reasonable and necessary to bring this case before the court today and to protect my client's interest and enforce his interest in the property that was already awarded to him under the decree. So, Your Honor, we just ask that our attorney's fees and expenses be awarded in their entirety.
Okay. Any other testimony, or do you pass yourself?
I passed myself.
Any questions of this witness?
Yes, I guess so. Ms. Aravalo, this is primarily a petition for clarification, correct?
It is.
And although it is partly a petition for property division, really, it's really clarifying things that were already divided under the order, correct? Under the degree. So
Yes.
can you show me the statute that gives you the right to attorney's fees for that?
Section 9.008 under clarification of order, and then the attorney's fees portion is section 9.014, that the court may award reasonable attorney's fees in processing under this subchapter for clarifications and enforcements of court's orders. And there's also another one for post-divorce property division, which entitles them to attorney's fees as well.
I saw that one. So I see the 9.008 is for clarification. What was the attorney's fees one?
9.014.
Gotcha. So, Ms. Arvalo, early, you put on an exhibit there showing that you had sent me a letter, correct? In, I think, March, is that correct?
Yes,
And when you did that, I told you I wasn't representing Ms. Robles, correct?
yes, you did, to my dismay.
So, at that point, I directed you to my client directly, correct?
You did.
And then I didn't show up in this case until whenever I answered, which I guess was April 23rd, correct?
That is correct.
So at least a large portion of what you're talking about happened before I got in this case, correct?
It did.
But then you and I have had various discussions about attempts to divide up some of this stuff afterwards, correct?
We have.
And I've generally been cooperative when we've tried to work together on these things, generally, correct?
You have.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Anything from you, Mr. Green?
Only to make argument on that if we're allowed to.
On the motion to clarify,
Just on the portion about attorney's fees.
well,
But I don't know how the court wants. I don't know what order we're going in here exactly.
this has been quite informal, so, Ms. Arevalo, you may give closing on the issues that are before the court.
Your Honor, I would ask the court to approve our agreements as far as the IRA information being provided within 10 days of today, so that we can effectuate the division of the retirement account and the divorce decree, and the provision that my client be able to access the vehicles and tools in the barn on Thursday and Friday of this week. I would also ask the court to maintain its ruling that my client be ordered to sell the remaining cow and to provide the cows and to provide those receipts so we can get those divided, as well as ordering both parties to exchange the receipts and information for the cows that were sold prior to today within 10 days of today's order. And again, Your Honor, one of the big issues was the residents had not even been listed to sell until we had to send letters, set hearings, and go through the whole court process, when that could have been avoided by simple communication. And it's also evident that Ms. Robles has arbitrarily withheld my client's stimulus check. And so we appreciate the court maintaining its order that she returned that $1,200 by Monday at 5 p.m. It was necessary for my client to incur these attorney's fees and expenses before the court. This is our second setting as Ms. Robles avoided service. And we've made every attempt to try to resolve this without the court's intervention and was unsuccessful. And we just ask that the court grant our requested relief and that they grant the attorney's fees and expenses as requested.
All right.
Your Honor, I also ask that the court approve the agreements to the extent that we have them. On the attorney's fees question, I would just point out that we actually have resolved a ton of this stuff before. Ms. Arvalo and I had been in discussions regarding the scheduling of the cattle pickup. I had informed her, I had sent her a copy of the contract for the sale of the property. I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, maybe. It's been a while. I'm not sure exactly how long. we've actually tried to agree on as many things as possible, but we tried to go forward on this. I really can only speak for after I got back into this case, but I think we have really made every effort to try to reach agreements and try to comply with the order, at least for the last several weeks. And there are going to be portions of this order, unfortunately, that Mr. Robles has not done either, that he's supposed to have done.
Your
And we
Honor, I would
may-
object as to relevance as to my client's actions.
I hear that. I'm just saying that unfortunately, if there's an attorney's fees award going this direction, we may have to come back and try to get the same going the other direction for the other failures. I'm just afraid it might start a war here, and I'd sure rather avoid it.
War is never good, but anything further?
Just as a brief rebuttal, Your Honor, my client can't pay half of expenses that he's not aware of. He hasn't been provided any receipts, any expenses, anything showing that the upkeep of the cows or whatever other expenses Ms. Robles is claiming. And so I would anticipate that once we receive those, we'll be able to resolve them without court intervention, as I attempted to do with Ms. Robles before we filed ours, and she was not responsive.
Well, I'm prepared to accept and make the agreements that the parties have reached in order of the court. And then, as I said, I've carried the three issues that are before the court that I'm going to look at them. And I think I still have my notes, and that may help me complete those portions. And the attorney's fees I'll carry. But anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
That concludes this hearing. Thank y'all.
Thank
you,
you.
Your
May
Honor.
we be
Thank
excused?
you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kayla.
Thank you, Kayla.
Thank y'all. Ms. Robles, I'll send you an email kind of summarizing where we are, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Kayla, can you give me a call, please?
Excuse me.
Actually go get a job now. Yeah. You know, you just shut off all the realtors, then you go get a job. Not like we could bear figure it out.
Okay. We'll go on the record and back on the record in D21-29603-CV and respondent's motion to continue is denied. I'll take testimony and let's proceed. Sir, if you could raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Just have a seat over there, sir. I know it's in that seat over there and get the microphone. We'll probably after today be switching this courtroom around again. So. All right, you may proceed.
What led to this separation? And have you ever touched your life or thought about your life in any way? And how are you employed? How are you employed? Or the citizens financial year? What do you do for financial technology? So you're in charge of all their problems? And regard to the event itself, we expect that you've been able to gain access back to your home. And we made an agreement where she was if that's your residence, you got to move back into residence. Is that correct? Yes, sir. You know, you're still in residence. And when you returned to residence, what did you find? Yes, a mess. And were the road lines, and were there was things intentionally left there in this road. And were there items missing? Was there? Let me show you this. Were your keys missing? Your truck? You ever get those wrong? Yes, sir. Actually, and who has the keys? Yes, sir. And let me show you. Yes. This is a picture. Yes. Everything on the grant that you do? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. And you're in operation. Where you trying to do the job. That's it. So you're trying to have very special what you're doing. Yes, sir.
Have those been, did you offer those?
No objection.
1 through 7 are admitted.
Is that the way the clock is open? And go ahead and get you. This is in the bathroom window. This is the bathroom. That's something that's only kind of line. Let me show you. This is 5, 7. What are those? So 5 is the gun safe. And number 7 are wireless line controller, network switch, and 2 servers. Missing the hard drive. So that's all stuff that you have, that's all. No, you got it. Stuff that is. Yes, hard drive. All right, so you got it. Yes. And the Mac, you can better see. And also, with your other items, you're going to pictures up for you as well. All of the paperwork, what do you know about paperwork? ID 214, naturalization paperwork, light paperwork. Okay, so you're, that was there, you ready before you left? You're asking, all of that, the all that stuff. That's a long and you're asking just so that stuff, you want that stuff back for safety until the force is not out. Is that correct? Yes, sir. And who's got the guns? I'm sorry? Who has the guns? I am sure. If she taken, if she had somebody remove the guns and ammunition from the house, she told me that her case is over. And so the only way they had access to the home was through her. Now, what else did you find this year with regard to your boots? Yes. So, our return comes under the general district. I started talking to the case of the missing center, had not been able to change the animals. It was about 3 weeks at that time. Couldn't find any of my double boots that I wanted on a regular basis. I found an old pair of boots next to the Pleasant Defense Center. So I decided to go out, make sure the animals are okay, etc. And put the boots on those broken glass inside the left boot. And was that the way you done the boot? And so you always carry some broken glass around. So what if somebody drops something in the road or you were driving and tell them to put it? They're not there. And where were the rest of your boots? And you still out down? Yeah. Then, did you want to take a problem? I believe so. We take a problem. Yes. And you still want to claim this? Yes, sir. You have there been instances where the doctors have taken her off? Yes, sir. Which the doctors do that? Like the doctor going to Plano in January. And then found a new doctor. Watched the accident. 2 weeks later. And as a result of that, she's had a lot of mental issues. When you have to come to so what at this time you guys know when you're trying to find the mission, are you asking for use of these things? Are you asking if she's trying for her use? And what does she do? Does she have one phone? Yes, sir. And is one of them paper? Yes. And what part paper? Okay. And what's the part that she gets? So the older part is not paper, the new part is paper. And so if she doesn't want to paper, the older part is she's going to turn into the paper. But she, what about, so we got cell phone and phone payment. Is there any credit card she got? She has her own credit cards. So you're going to pay the city share? Yes. You pay her own credit card? Yes. You're going to pay the household? What about her community? You'll continue to pay management matching as part of the policy or? With respect to everything else, you actually suspended on for the maintain the status quo, in other words, the property, nobody buys, sell anything, nobody builds up. Yes, sir. Specialist.
Mr. Jennings, there was an emergency, a magistrate's emergency protective order that was rendered against you based on something that happened with you like back in March of this year, is that correct? And so you talked about guns and ammunition not being in the house, but the protective order, that is, by agreement, we amended it, but the protective order that was placed out prevents you from being in possession of guns or ammunition. You indicated that there were several items that were taken from the home. Have you talked with your wife about where those items are by the way? Okay, so the protective order that was rendered on, looks like March 29th of this year, since that time you've not had any, you have not spoken to her, that's your case. But my point is that you guys have not had a conversation about these allegations of missing property or broken property. Okay. Now, you indicated there are no guns or ammunition that are in your property right now, is that correct? And if they were there, that would be a violation of this protective order. Now, your wife is, has COPD, is that correct? Okay, what is her medical condition? Do you know it? Do you understand it? Okay. Now, you guys have been married for a while, is that right? Looks like y'all got married in August of 2014, is that right? So since that time, has she ever worked outside the home? Yes. Okay. And has she been under a doctor's care since that time? Okay. I believe I asked you about COPD. Are there any other medical illnesses that you're aware of that your wife might have? What is that? And during that time, I just checked her ability to work and get impacted because of these medical conditions. And when was the last time that she worked that hard? Today, we're asking the court for her to be responsible when she wants to keep a city vehicle, for her to pay for that, for her to pay for her cell phone, for her to pay for credit cards. What? Okay, what source of income do we have, independent of you, to pay for the bill? But she's not, she's not, at least we have a month, 7 years, she's not working that hard. But today, but today, you think that she can now do a job? When she worked outside the home, do you know what her skills were? And when was the last time that she made that brought that income to the family? Okay, so since 2014, she's not actively contributing to the family. We were to go back and change documents, we have to do it. Tax returns that we're not, is it going to be your income that they reported for the last 7 years? Would you have an objection to allowing a person time to get some training, get some job skills, be back to the workforce? I know you haven't talked to her during this protected order period, but do you have any information if she has a job at this time, has the ability to get a job? And about the time, prior to March 29th of this year, when you guys are living together, was she able to walk? Yes. She wasn't bedridden? And as far as the driving, was she driving without restriction? And which car was damaged there? Which car was she in? Which area? Is it drivable to your knowledge, or do you have to get used to it?
Anything further?
I had just a couple questions. Who was it that, who was it that survived? The person that arrived, we reached the agreement, she was going to do that, she was going to take. And we put it on the record that time, she was going to take one certain item. Just that, she was going to take her clothes or jewelry, took some of them, she said, grab couches and her set up property, all for her payments. This young property damage. Yes, sir. And, she took those out we talked about, and also she took some other items. The tools. Yeah. Right. The truck keys. The tractor keys. With respect to the guns, even though she wasn't supposed to take it, she had on the mayor, you had the right to not hold those guns until it's 29, is that correct? Until the pay is five. And when your wife called the police, made up Nancy called the police, person that she told us that you were having an affair with, and she's giving the keys to her? Yes, sir. Or something like that, she got me. The last time I recorded, I think the record was, I don't know where your keys are, the last time I saw them, we don't. Is this, good for your daughter? Yes, she has a friend of yours, is that correct? Yes, sir. She has a child that's the same age as your child. She's slightly irregular. And they're friends. Yes, sir. That's okay.
All right. Any other witnesses?
We thought the young people.
All right, if you could raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? You can have a seat over there. Make sure and speak into the microphone. All right.
State your name for the court.
Taylor
And Ms. Cooper, how do you know Nathan had a genius?
from my daughter,
Okay. And all about the 29th of March, you received a phone call.
I received a text message first. I was from the that stated, name her in that.
Okay. And when you got a hold of her, what did she seem to be? Or what was this?
So, and to me, it seems she was very distraught. She was already at, the emergency room when I found out that her pastor's not.
Okay. And what was your belief when you talked to her first?
At first, like I was just in disbelief because I have been around him, and I never, that God never comes to mind that he could do something like that. I even asked her about me, because I was so shocked that something like that.
Okay. And did you go to her aid? Did you go to her house?
I did, so we had just gotten home, we were in the radio. We had just gotten home, I was 24 hours before she contacted me. And as soon as I got that and could not get a hold of her, then we had everything out of the word was at her hospital.
And did you stay with her?
Yes, I was there, I had an opportunity, I was about 7:30, and I left Friday,
And did she ever talk to you about next keys to the trust?
yes,
Did she have this?
yes.
And what did she tell you about this?
So she told me that he was not going to get his keys because he had financially abused her, and he would not give them until she got something.
She got something?
Yes,
Did she say what that something was that she wanted?
not specifically.
And did she also talk to you about spousal support?
Yes, she did.
What did she tell you about that?
She claimed that she was trying to wait until January to file for divorce because she wanted to wait until they were married for 10 years so that she could get spousal support.
Did she talk about another way at all to get spousal support?
She had, so while I was there, she had researched on her phone, ways to get basically spousal support in Texas. And she had said that the only ways to get spousal support was to either have domestic, I guess, violence charge, or the medical conditions.
So lo and behold, she's now got all these huge medical conditions. And she's got a domestic charge. But she hasn't made it.
And see, I haven't known them that long, so I don't know how long they get them.
Did you notice that she found some temporary checks or anything while she was there?
Yes.
Tell the court about the temporary checks.
So, while she was going through cleaning stuff, trying to get stuff together, to take, she had me taking stuff to make what we were cleaning up. She found some, folder that contained some temporary tracks. And she talked about how she was just going to write down some, like, write it down to herself and cash it so that she would have money to pay for the divorce. And basically, I just, from me, I had asked her not to, just because from what I could tell, it wasn't anything wrong. Her rating was not on that. It was a temporary check, and all she told me was, I can do it on my own, and my attorney has advised me, I can practice it.
So she before somebody.
I didn't see her write out the check, she was just talking.
At some point, she started, it seemed like she started turning this to you.
Not while I was there, no. It was a little bit about a week and a half after that.
And what started that?
I had just gotten random, I got a text message from her, 4 o'clock in the morning, that I didn't see until I was on my church. And it basically said something, and we need to talk. I noticed we've been talking with me for a while, and listened to, and then there was another text from her a couple of days later, where she had basically accused me of only coming down to stay with her, to get close to me.
Who's Lisa?
Lisa is, the pastor's office.
So you were talking about Nick and Lisa. So somehow she equates that to there.
And how she was speaking, talking to Nick and Lisa after I even left. Because I mean, Lisa being my pastor, I talked to her all
Are you having a with her?
the time.
Did you receive a text from her on the 6th, I think the 6th, something to do with her keys, that's in the house?
Yes.
What did she say?
She basically said that, she asked me if she needed to get her keys back. Yeah, I know she said, do I need to get my keys back?
Say something to me about the cameras watching her notifies.
Yeah, she told me, well, the text message read that I needed to tell other people they are not allowed in her mailbox because she has cameras outside.
Did you tell her mental health, whatever was going on with you?
I have started to see that, yes.
And at that point, just continue to contact with her.
Yes.
And have you ever worked anywhere where you see this type of behavior before?
Yes, I work at the United States Court Living Center, and we work with adult males who are homeless offenders who have intellectual disabilities as well as mental health issues.
And were you there when, that's when you were standing, or was there a time when she was trying to get Nathan and son? Did she question him?
In regards to,
Protect the water and all that?
yes, multiple times. She would talk about wanting to get Nathan added to the protective order, and basically have it last over the whole 2 years, through the whole divorce. She would say that Nathan was afraid of him, Nathan was scared of him. And I myself had conversations with Nathan voiced no concern towards the economy.
Did you feel like he was trying to force? I'm sorry, making the same mistake.
At the time, yes, there was one time where, it was myself, Heather, my daughter Katie, and another teenager, we were all in the same room. And I felt like I said, I remember I'm in the room with your dad. He said, no, here's it.
I'll
Without saying that the child ever expressed any concern about his father's police. That's good.
Thirty-one is about 20 minutes from Georgetown. Okay, so I classify the house in there. Yes. How old is your daughter? My daughter's 14. And how old is Nathan is 16. That far away, how do you, I'm just curious, how do you understand? Okay, so we have just previously moved to Liberty Hill in February of 2020. But we have lived for almost, and so my daughter and Nathan took school. And you talked about, I guess it was an incident or text message between you and Mrs. Jimmy on April the 6th, where Heather asked you if she needed to get her keys back for you. Yes. Did you have her house keys? Yes. And when did she give you her house keys? It was the night that we got here, and then it was the keys to the house. And would that be on or around the date that the order was rendered? It was the date that, well, technically the night before. Okay. Because the day after we got out of the house the night before. Okay. That was around March 28th, the law was changed. Yes. And Ms. Jennings was still residing in the house then? Yes. And then she gave you the keys? Yes. Do you know when Ms. Jennings left the residence? She moved out? I do not know that. I know the residents on Friday came back the following Sunday just to pick up some things that we needed to hold in quarantine. Okay. And so that would have been that first. It's on the 6th. I have no idea what day it is, but on that particular day, when she was asking about the keys, do you think she was still living there? Or I do. Okay. Yes. Okay. Did you return the keys back to her? She never asked for them. From what I know, she just said, do I need to get my keys back? Just everything that followed. I was just. You testified that her children changed the law, or the children changed the law. Who changed the law to the record? Do you know who changed the law? Do you know on the law? Yes, it was somebody in my brother. And Nathan, you said is 17 years old, is that correct? 16, right? He just turned 17. So he doesn't do gospel, yes. And there was a period of time where he was residing at the house alone. No. When you left, and your daughter leave with you? Yes. When you guys left the house, first part of April, did y'all come back to the house since then? No. When did you come back to the house? We were there this past weekend for a weekend, but other than that, it's just been to take my daughter out there to drop her off. Okay, what day? If I run the calendar, we got a refresher there for them.
Yes, sir.
Probably they're 16. I think that that's supposed to be where it's supposed to be. And there's technical factors. You know, the editor, I put on. I do not know. No. I'm not sure. And you're not with the neighbors, right? When, or it was 16. Maybe did not come back until the day was able to. Oh, okay, so maybe. I guess. But he had no access to them. And, besides you having the keys, do you know if anybody else has the keys to the house? If she gave her keys to you. Not, I mean, there were multiple, because it was like everybody was several blocks, and so she had probably 4 or 5 keys laid on the house. So she gave me one, and what she did with the rest of it. That's the way to say it.
Any further? All right. You're free to go, or free to stay. Anything further? I'll take closing. Anything, Ms. Keithley, from you? I'll take closing. It can be very brief. I've got somewhere I need to be pretty quickly.
Judge, we're just asking, the court, the temporary orders that reflect your standing orders about personal property. In addition to that, we're asking that the court order, Jenny pay her bills, her credit cards. If she wants to keep the car, then that's fine. But if not, she needs to return the car. She's got a car that's paid for. I'm not sure why she wants to because she's unemployed and doesn't have the money to pay for it, but that's up to her. With respect to these other items, which are listed, that furnishes things in the house that we gave today, we testified to about today. The one part of this that was agreed to be removed, and that includes the firearm, ammunition, the computer equipment, the tools, his papers, his personal papers, those type of things. And we're asking that those items be returned, or to be returned back to the home, or at least somewhere like that. We can make arrangements in my office. All those to magistrate protective order expires. That's what we think was the agreement. We're asking the court to order that. With regard to the rest of it, you said, we just asked the court how he had the money. We think that is in party's interest at this point in time. We started investing based on the testimony from the party's friend, Ms. Cooper. Appears that a whole lot of this has been put together as a way to spousal maintenance with no money. In other words, medical conditions. And like a lot of those are claiming the family violence issue. Sounds like it's been claiming just because she's been researching how do I get spousal maintenance where I'm not married 10 years. And so that's the concern here. You don't go almost 10 years into a marriage and never ever be any type of family violence, no history of that, and all of a sudden there's a family violence. And so where there's no actual injuries to the party, there's no evidence that otherwise it's just work. So we're asking the court to deny the request for spousal maintenance.
This Jenny was victim of family violence and a series of events happened, and she was able to answer the application for, I guess, promote her position in the court. But we do have ask the court to order Mr. Jennings to continue to maintain the balance and state that whatever assets are in the house, continue testimony about leadership. We would ask that staff do continue to be maintained. It's my understanding that the protective law, unless something changes, will find out what it is. And I just, the part of saying that we continue to everybody has said something.
Thank you. As far as the firearms and ammunition, I'll order those be turned over to the petitioner through his attorney if that occurs before the expiration of the magistrate's order. Nevertheless, either way, I'll order those things turned over and prior to June the 1st. All other relief requested by the petitioner is granted, and I'll sign an order when it's presented. Anything further? Hopefully we'll see Ms. Jennings here in the near future. All right. Yes, that concludes this.